Probably golden. If I forgot something, then chat will yell at me. The surefire solution. Okay, let me just ping the Discord. Here we are. Okay. Where's Fisher Random? Custom. Chess960. Let's see if we can find any 10-minute games in Chess960, shall we? I am him. He's literally him. Oh, Norwegian got first. Rexpor, you're off. You're off your game. Hello. Okay. Odd. I fell off. Bro fell off. You are not first, Lambda. It's very specific. The law is clear. He who redeems the first reward is officially first. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. Well, I do, but that's not the point. My excuse is that I was writing reviews on Album of the Year. Based. Also, how are you? Quite good. Today's the second Rivals 2 beta, which is a platform fighter I've been anxiously awaiting. And so I've been spending some time today playing that. I've enjoyed it. Found a funky chess website? Talk to me. So here's my plan. I want to play knight c6. This might be pushing it because of knight g5. Okay, he doesn't. We're good. Never mind. Now I got knight c6, so now I'm happy. Drawback chess. Oh, I have heard of that. Give me a second. You have a random drawback, which you only find out what it is after the game, and so you have to figure it out. Oh no, it's you don't know your opponents, but you know your own. Yeah, no, you know your own. I think I played that before. May 17th was yesterday, which is the Norwegian National Constitution Day, which also ended my 22-day long graduation celebration, which means, yes, I am absolutely dead. R.I.P. in peace. This is dumb. It's really fun until you can't move pieces to half of the squares that randomize each move. Yeah, see, I've seen it. I think I saw a video of Eric Rosen playing it. I think that's where I've heard of it from. And I remember seeing him play and was like, wow, this looks impossible. Because he would be getting these random drawbacks, right? But some of them were like crazy extreme. With like very little way to play around them. So you're just basically hoping that your opponent loses before you do. Hello, Callum. Okay, we're up a piece. Guess what? Chicken butt. No, but seriously, what is it? Some are really weird. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Don't believe me? Try to party and drink and drive around in housemaid party buses, vans, pretty much 24/7 for 22 days with still full 7-hour school days and tests. Pretty darn tiring. Yeah, I have no interest in doing that. That sounds miserable. Happy for you. But no, I beat a 2K player in 31 moves in Rapid. Hey, that's huge. Congratulations. Was it like an opening trap, or did you just clean that up? What happened? Talk to me. One of them is you have to move a piece that is to the right of the file you move to. Weird. He said I had a bad queen. That's just rude. Any tactic for getting I could take? That's less rude. Now, exam period starts next week. I have a written exam in Norwegian, physics and math, and then an oral exam in June. If I pass all of them, then I actually gonna graduate. Feels pretty scary. Yeah, I have exam season coming up too. It's not next week, but the week after next I have one, and then I have a few more on some other days. So hold on a second. I haven't moved my rook or king, right? That means I can castle kingside here, which is cursed. Yeah. See, that's why I don't say anything in chat. Nothing good can come from bragging in chess.com chat. Nothing. Only pain. They're 1300 rapid with 2k bullets. So yeah, that shows where their priorities lie. Also, exciting news. I finished collecting all the data for the Chess960 starting positions, and I am begun the process of trying to figure out what the heck it means. Making graphs is much harder than I thought it was going to be. I only have one graph so far. And that one graph basically says humans are bad at chess. They're 1500 in blitz though, so I still have a point. We'll take it. We take those. I 100% agree. Forget agree. I have objective data behind this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. This blue bar right here is the computer's win rate as the position gets better evaluated. The starting position's higher evaluated, and this gray line is humans win rate. So computer's win rate skyrockets as the position gets better. Human win rate stays exactly the same. Doesn't say exactly the same. We go from like 48 over here to like 49. So it's like a 1% deviation for humans. For computers, it's like 10%. The game changes completely depending on the starting evaluation. But humans, it just doesn't matter. Which, to be fair, is a really good thing for the competitive integrity of Fisher Random. Because it means it doesn't really matter what starting position you get. It's not going to change the overall result much, statistically. Or at least I wouldn't expect it to. So, that's good news. I've been playing a lot of 960. I've been trying to play more. That's why I'm doing 960 Saturdays. Because I keep saying that I think it should be the future of chess, especially with how strong opening theory's gotten. But I can say that all I want, but until I actually start, doing something with it. Yeah, and not only am I playing in Norwegian, but as I mentioned before, I've got this huge statistical undertaking where I'm trying to figure out a bunch of different things about Chess960 starting positions and like effectively their relative evaluations. This was a stupid move. So like among other things, in my pool of stats is I was busy eating my sushi. I don't know if that's based or cringe. I'm waiting for my food because I'm starving. What food you getting? Pizza and a burger? Ah, delicious. Anyway, so I have, in my data set, I have a number of human games I have in the data set. I have humans win rate, humans draw rate, humans loss rate, humans most popular first move and how common it is, most popular second move, how common it is, most popular third move, how common it is, and I have that for both colors. And then I have the number of computer games I have for any given position. I have the computer win-law and dross rates. I have the computer evaluation from that guy that I told you all about. So I've got a pretty good amount of data here. Don't know where it's going to take me, but hopefully somewhere. A large pizza and a normal burger. That seems like a pretty good amount of food, so it looks like you won't be hungry for long. I absolutely take that. This check isn't scary, I don't think. Okay. At least I don't think it's scary. It didn't look scary. So I've already found what positions have the highest evaluation, but it's actually not the same as the positions with the best win rate. So for the human play specifically, I'm going to be trying to look into what positions people win the most. Isn't that check and blunder? It looks the part. Oh, I suppose I could have just taken the bishop, yeah? Doi. Doi. Anyway, so I'm going to be looking for what positions are the most winningest for humans as well, because I feel like that would be interesting. There looks to be a few positions that are like very won by humans. More so than you would expect. I have never claimed to be good at chess. That sounds interesting. Yeah, I'm going to make a YouTube video out of it. It's the plan, at least. Are we here to watch? Thank you, thank you. I've got to really look into it more. I haven't looked into it enough to have enough to say about it. But I will, now I have the data. Because I've had to compile all this myself. No one else has done this, which is crazy to me. Because I feel like this is something that at least I would want to know, you know? So I find it weird that no one else has compiled these stats and have tried to draw any conclusions from it. The one thing I'm not sure how to do that I want to do. Yeah, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Before I did this myself, I spent a lot of time looking and asking around, and no one I could find has heard anything about anyone looking into it very deeply. Like, people have looked into the question, what positions are best in Fisher Random? But, I mean like a full analysis where we're trying to figure it out objectively. You know, not just like, what does the engine say? Okay, that's probably true. You know? Boom. Don't even have to give him the rook. I'll be taking that. It was completely unnecessary. It was a completely unnecessary flourish, but I saw that it worked out and it looked funny, so. That's something to watch out for normally, though, is the long diagonal here when both sides are rushing their pawns. Well, it's a bit fancy. It's a bit fancy. I think the computer might like it, though. Ah, the computer wanted here because it's faster checkmate. Yeah, that makes sense. Spoil sport. I just, again, it's really extravagant. There's no reason for me to do this. It's just funny. But it is a very common tactical motif. So, for example, if we get rid of my rook, right, and it's black to move here. So let's say... Okay, let's say this is the position. Then as black, I'm dead. Because, oh yeah, you could think, okay, he queens and I queen, but the problem is, I queen, he queens, guess what? I lose my queen. And if I move the king out of the way, then he queens and he stops my pawn, right? So this long diagonal is a very important motif in a lot of king and pawn endgames. So it didn't matter there because I was up a rook, but the king move just demonstrates that, right? This diagonal is important because now, even though he moved the king, he still can't protect the queen. He still can't get the queen. Right? Because if he moves his king, then I just queen myself, and now I'm over defending that square anyway. It's just, again, it happens somewhat frequently in these sorts of positions. And, very, very smart. I've just read some endgame stuff. It's so funny. My little brother is catching up to me in chess strength, right? And however, he's not quite caught up to me yet, especially with endgames. With endgames, I'm still significantly ahead. So what always happens whenever we play is he gets a slightly better position on the opening because he's studied openings more than I do. He's more up to date on his openings. And then we play. I manage to get into a slightly worse endgame. And then I win the slightly worse endgame every time. The other day, I beat him in a rook endgame where I was down a pawn. It was so funny. Yeah, lucky. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. My heart tells me here. So in theory, I could look up this position and see how good or bad it is. And what the computer's recommended first move is, and what the most common first moves are. Actually, I'll do that after this game. That's a fun gimmick. No, yeah, after this game, I'll look up the position that we started in my database and see what I find. Yeah. No, this is a good idea. I had a good idea, people. I mean, what's the point in having a giant Chess960 database, the likes of which mankind has never seen, if you're not going to use it, right? The question is, if he takes, which way do I take back? I suppose with E? Classical principles would suggest C, but actually C does look better. I am unsure. So I'm gonna do this. So yeah, we'll look up this position in my database afterwards. Which, of course, I'm going to be making the database publicly available once I publish a YouTube video. I might make it like $3 on a Ko-fi page or something. But I mean, it's one of those things where as soon as I make it available for $3, someone's gonna buy it and then like share it with all their friends, and I'm okay with that. It's not that big a deal. I was very suspicious of bishop c5. Maybe it's playable, but I don't know. Seems wrong. Problem is, it's very difficult to find an easy plan. If he wants to take, let him knock himself out. It's totally fine by me. Because then I take back with rook, right? Okay, castles, sure. I need to get my queen into the game. That way my king can get out. So I'm gonna be clever and do this, castles, right? Is there a reason I should care about that? He's not threatening any material currently. Maybe he's trying to play b5? b5 doesn't look productive either. So I'm just going to play here, move on with my life. I can't quite castle yet. However, I can play this at some point. Probably should have played that last move. Because that's a very nice move. It solves a lot of my problems. Okay. I think we're doing all right in this position. I don't think I'm like giga. That was a very weird move. I don't like that. Am I missing something? I'm very confused. Why did he just give me a bishop? I mean, I'm not complaining. I like bishops, but like... I mean, thanks, I guess. My queen's still pretty inactive, but on the upside now my king isn't nearly as weak since he doesn't have that dark squared bishop. That dark squared bishop was the entirety of his play. I think I was worse because of that bishop for a long time. I was not playing around it properly because I really underestimated it for the longest time. C5 is a move that I really want to play in this position. Obviously, I'm threatening to take on a2 as well. C5 has the sneaky idea of like takes, queen takes, bishop c5, and pinning the queen to the king. So it might be a little gimmicky. You know, sometimes I want to play a move just because it tactically looks funny. So like, I really want to play c5 here. Is it bad? It doesn't look that bad. Because it also opens up my bishop. Oh. Okay, he fell for it. Never mind, we're chilling. Poor guy. Yeah, this is the weird part. Since Chess960 isn't super common these days, it doesn't have the player base that standard chess does. And so you end up with more matchups like this, where I'm, you know, 1300 and he's 900. Not only that, but I'm a 1300 who's 2100 or 2000 standard. Not a whole lot of fairness going on right now. Not exactly the most fair positions. Hello, Moss. Yep. With a curse. Yeah, you know. Hey. See, I know what you're talking about, but for a split second, because this is Twitch chat and I'm never expecting anything John Calvin related in Twitch chat, I read it as like a meme post of like Calvin and Hobbes and something about the Geneva Convention. And it just very stupid. Okay. So, what's this? Rook, queen, king. Actually, we should look at it from the white perspective. So it's rook, knight, knight, bishop, bishop, king, queen, rook. Because we have the white side taken here. So we want to command F. There we go. Control F. Sorry, not command F. It's a different thing. So we said rook, knight, knight. And knight, bishop, bishop, king, queen, rook. Okay, I found it. This is position 872 in my database. Sorry, 871 in my database. So in position 871, white wins 48% of the time. There it is a 48.69% of the time. It's a draw 3.88% of the time, and black wins 47.41% of the time. So by win rate, it's a fairly even position. One of the more even ones. By evaluation, this position is 0.35 starting evaluation. Plus 0.35. So slightly better for white. Are you trying to threaten you with the curse if you continue to waste your life? Yeah, the picking up seashells thing? It's hard, man. Plus 0.35. The most common move for the white pieces here is played by humans is e2, e4 with 23% or 24% of the 24% of the play of the games. d2, d4 second most popular with 19.17, and b1 to c3, knight b1 to c3 is the third most popular move. My opponent played f4, which is not in the top 3 most popular moves. And as black, it's d5, e5, and f6. So, d5, e5, and f6 are the 3 most popular moves for black. I played d5. So I played the most popular move that black plays in this position, which is played 13.57% of the time. So from jump, I played a more popular move, and I also played a better move. In this position, the computer recommends 1e4, and black should respond with f5. And in this position, when played by computers, white wins 54% of the time, it's a draw 32% of the time, and black wins 14% of the time. So this position, according to my statistics, shows a small but noticeable advantage for white if white plays the best moves, and the best moves are very natural. The most popular move in this position is the computer's top recommended move. However, for black, finding f5 is far less natural. f5 isn't even in the top 3 most popular moves. Hey, Christos, thank you so much for the raid. Wait, let me shout you out. Make sure I spelled everything right. I did. Okay, we're chilling. So yeah, this is a position known to have a slight advantage for white, a slight but noticeable advantage for white. And to be relatively easy to play for white. This is also one of the milder positions when it comes to computers beating humans. I'm 63 and you might have the same amount of knowledge I have. I find that highly unlikely. You should make your current location your own personal Geneva or else. Yeah. I'm trying. I got things I want to do. See, this is what's so interesting. I love these positions because there's so many mad moves. There's so many mistakes by both colors. Because even if we're not talking like blundering material, just the way to play position is never really clear. It requires a great deal of creativity. I'm telling you, Fisher Random's the future. If chess players are brave enough to reach out and grab it. So yeah, we played position 871. Moss, I have this skill. It's pretending that I know what I'm talking about. I like to think I'm pretty good at it. Now, again, what I've said before, I'm not lying to you. I haven't been lying to you, I'm just saying. I think it's easier if you're intentional about what you say and what you don't say to come off a lot more knowledgeable than you are. I would say not only on the internet, but also in person, which is how we end up with a lot of people, not just in charge, but people making decisions who don't know as much as they claim to. Right? Whoa, this is a weird one. Okay, so a good rule of thumb is opening a fianchetto with bishop is usually not a bad move. Your cage stage comment was impressive? Oh, come on. That's like the stereotype. It's either that or a predestination joke. Which all those jokes have been made before. I mean... Might be a dumb move. Oh, that's a clever move. I'll just take my material back. I'm not going to tempt the hands of fate. That's weird to me. I wouldn't be opening my A file here if I were black. It just feels suspicious because now something like F5 and bishop F2 plays itself, right? I mean, maybe I don't time, but second. Well, I mean, no one else has claimed second, so I can't contest you that much. Feels wrong, but can't prove it wrong, so we'll accept it. Yeah, nah. I ain't that broke. Now, give me that knight. Thank you. Always make sure to thank your opponents for the gifts. Ek hun maner gar. Should I have said that? I probably should not have said that. I probably should have Googled what that meant before I said it. That probably would have been a smart choice. A wise choice. Hey, but you can't spell wisdom without dumb. Ah, wonderful. Well, I mean, to be fair, could have been a lot worse. Not thrilled with it, but like, as far as things to make people accidentally say on the internet goes, relatively tame. Look on the bright side, you know? Okay, now I'm definitely not saying that one. Give me a second. Okay, I just won. Let me Google that. You boo me? Is that what that means? I don't think it detected the right language. I think Google goofed it. I don't trust this. I really don't. Okay, now. Once again, let's use my big database of Chess960 positions. What is this? This is Rook, King, Knight, Rook, Bishop, Knight, Queen, Bishop. This is position 757. This one has a pretty big advantage for White. White cracks a 49% win rate on this one. This is one of the more winning positions. And most of the win rate is taken right out of Black's win rate. Black only has a 47.44 win rate. So White wins about 1.4% of the time more than Black does. That's a lot. Additionally, I played G2, G3, which is not the best move. It's actually quite bad. However, it's the most popular move by a landslide. This move has been played, what is this? 33.78% of the time. Almost everybody, like a third of people in this position decide that G3 is the move. However, it's an inaccuracy. That goes to show, right? And then D2, D4 is the second most popular, which makes sense because that's the move I wanted to play as well. Very natural. Very, very natural. Opens up a square for the knight, opens the bishop, and pushes a pawn in front of a rook. All of which are standard principles. How join? Can you type exclamation mark join? All of which are standard principles in Chess960 theory. You want to put a knight behind a pawn, you want to push a pawn in front of a rook, and you want to open your bishops. So D2, D4 is played 20% of the time. Very natural. And then E2, E4 is played 12%. And then Black's moves mirror White's, with the exception of C8 to B6 being the third most popular Black move at only 6.41% of the time. So there aren't that many moves that are played by Black other than this and this first move, which makes sense. This position is plus 0.34. However, yeah, it's plus 0.34. And the computer wins it a lot. Okay, so this is when my database becomes interesting. Because my database tells me that while the first move for White is very difficult to find, because the recommended first move here is a G4, actually, according to the high depth engine. So while this first move is kind of annoying to find, this position is one of the harder ones to play for Black. White has a very easy time in this game. White performs incredibly well and incredibly close to the objective evaluation. How much have you read about Spurgeon? Spurgeon, if any? Very little. I'm vaguely familiar with the direction of his works, but I haven't read any of his works. What are we playing? Chess960. And I have this big database of all the Chess960 starting positions and a bunch of stats about them. And I'm using that to learn stuff about some of the random positions I played. Yeah, so human win rate is remarkably close to engine win rate in this game. So humans perform extremely well in this position. you send me an invite with your friends? Yeah, I will. After this, I have to just analyze this real quick. Okay, so this is a dubious sort of idea. Okay, taking was definitely bad, because opening this file was completely unnecessary. And then you just let me play my bishop. Yeah, then here's just kind of over. Okay. Yeah. Okay, challenge sent. So, do you want me to tell you the stats about our starting position before we play or after we play? Do you think that the accursed knowledge will help you or make you play worse? Oh, you played rated. It's fine for now. Uh-huh. I'm gonna go C4. Asking to make you aware that is preaching shocked Britain in the mid-1850s. By the age of 25, he was preaching to an average of 5,000. Yeah. Something tells me I won't be the next Spurgeon. Call it a hunch. It's a constant source of stress for me, if I'm being honest. Because I often feel like I could or should be doing more than I am. The reason for the shock is that England was spiritually dead. Well, you know, light shines brightest in the darkness, right? Play slower and playing Brawl Stars right now is what Chess Pyro just said in the game chat. Nice. We are reaching levels of Zoomer hitherto thought impossible. I got an idea here. I'm pretty sure the sort of h4, h5 advance is kind of thematic in these positions. Could be getting it mixed up though. I'm pretty sure it's thematic. How do I make more progress? Really? I don't quite like the situation. Yeah, rook h6 seemed very suspicious to me. I'm not exactly sure why you played that. Life's too short to live in fear. Let's go. Yeah, but that's how it always works. You know, the pendulum kind of swings. Countries become spiritually dead, and then there's sort of a revolution where old ideas are brought back to the forefront. And then people rest on their laurels, and the country becomes spiritually dead. Yeah, it's happened a lot. It's a pretty well-established pattern by this point. A really annoying one, but a well-established one. Even that move looks weird. I mean, maybe it's fine, but I just... Letting my knight into f5 and closing off... it doesn't look right. My knights look too strong. They're walking right into your position. They're just strolling in. Like they own the place. Which at this point they kind of do. Who's in charge in this position, right? It's not the kings, it's these knights. Is there a threat? I don't see a threat. Can I just take the rook? Why can't I just take the rook? This is a very stupid move. I should not be playing like this. Ooh. I may have goofed. Can win back at least some of the material. Right? Okay. So far, so good. Material count, I'm up in exchange. Spurgeon exploded on the scene with the forgotten doctrines of grace. Immediately, the working class mostly slowly realized that he preached biblically. Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. The West has a lot of problems and is in a very, very bad spot. Now, there's still chess to be played. I'm not offering a drive. But I don't think we're that dead. Sproul recently died, and so once like Piper dies as well, give it another 50, 100 years, and then another Spurgeon will come along and remind people what the gospel actually means. So we got a good 50 years of depravity at least before we get another spiritual revolution. Very annoying if you ask me. I need to get this bishop more active. It's doing absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. A4 might be terrible here, but my idea was if he pushes, then I can take, and we're okay, and that's fine. And if he takes that way, I take here. Okay. Is this tempting the hands of fate? Nah, we can do here, worst case, right? Sproul, Piper, etc. The new wave were hugely successful preaching an unpopular, rejected Calvinist doctrine. Yup. History repeats itself. Something, something, there's nothing new under the sun, right? Been through the song and dance before. And we'll be through it again. At least one more time, you know? For old time's sake. Okay. What's my plan? I had a plan. I was also amused at your cage stage comment. Well, you know. That's the stereotype, right? It's like we're so excited by the fact that we have the truth that we do, and we're like, oh, it's so obvious. Everyone has to see this. And while they do, yes, it's just sometimes the methodology is a little dubious is a strong word. Over enthusiastic, and that's enough. Plus, the nice part is that if you're someone who reads about Calvinist doctrine, then you'll know what that means immediately and recognize it for the for the jab it is. So it's like an inside joke that anyone who actually knows what the subject is guaranteed to get. Very difficult position to win. Because the thing is, what I have to do is I have to transition this into a winning king and pawn endgame, right? That's the ultimate goal here. It's funny, but it has serious implications. Of course it does. That's why I meant it only tongue-in-cheek. I'm not going to make an actual statement about your theological what would you call that, biases in Twitch chat. Oh, Gun, we're playing Chess960 and I'm winning. And also because I finished my big Chess960 database that I've been talking about for like a few weeks, and so in addition to just playing Chess960 and analyzing the games afterwards, I'm going through the different positions in my big database and seeing what the stats for all of them are. Getting a more full overview. Okay, I'll tell you what. Okay, so this game will be the example of my stat spread. So I'll tell you what stats I have. And these are exclusive. This is an Alco exclusive. Thank you. I've compiled all these myself. So this position is rook, knight, bishop, bishop, queen, knight, king, rook. Rook, knight, bishop, bishop, queen, knight, king, rook. There it is. This is position number 810 in my database. Oh, I didn't. Okay, now you can rejoin. Anyway, so since February, from February of 2014 until last month, so April 2024, this position has occurred in Lee Chess, Chess960 games, 20,091 times. And in those 20,091 games, White has won 49.12% of the time. It was a draw 3.74% of the time. Black won 47.12% of the time, and black won 47.12% of the time. So this is one of the more human winning games. Not the most, it's not like the craziest, but the most popular move for white in this position is e2, e4, with a almost 39.37% percent Second most popular is d4, with a 20.19% occurrence, and third most popular is f1 to g3. Knight f1 to g3 with an 8.25% occurrence. For black, the most popular moves are e5 with an occurrence of 32.19%, d5 with 16.73%, and knight f8 to g6 with an occurrence of 10.08%. Additionally, I have 623 engine games in this position, and of those 623 engine games, white won 54% of the time, it was a draw 31% of the time, and black won 15% of the time. No, yeah, 15% of the time. The engine evaluation of this position is plus 0.25, and the recommended starting moves according to Stockfish at depth, I think it was 42, is d4, d5. Well, I hope I helped you practice. Those are the stats I have so far. Now, I can do more with those stats than I currently have, and I'm working on making some charts and some more thorough analyses. So this looks to be a thoroughly average Chess960 position. Nothing really that exceptional about it. Average win rates, natural starting moves, very normal starting moves occurrence. The computers very easily, like humans very easily find the recommended moves and play them super often. Just a very normal, rational starting position. Yeah, not a whole lot exciting to say about the starting position. I played c4. I was being a little creative. Maybe he meant to type man and typoed. I have no idea. b6, knight c3. Yeah, d4 is very natural. I was just trying to open up my knight. Then we both played pretty terrible. Oh, I could have taken this first. Sheesh. That's brutal. And then after check, the king has to go all the way back, and so I can take the rook for free. That's nasty. And then my opponent was really doing some cooking. Rook f3. Rook d6. Now that's a funky move. That can't be an easy move to find. That actually looks real difficult. After knight f6, now it's even Steven. And now it's getting better and better for me. You have to play king f8 immediately. And then evidently I take this first. Then after queen e6, bishop f5, I can have some compensation. At one point where I was winning, I misclicked. Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, definitely. Have you guys seen the new Doctor Who? Isn't that like on Apple TV or something? I've seen that it exists. I don't know literally anything else about it. Actually, that's not true. I remember seeing that they didn't do another female doctor. Which, I mean, is pretty funny. I don't know, I watched it live. Okay, is it any good? How was that chess tournament day? How'd it go? Yeah, so this is just a very normal standard Chess960 starting position. It's not a whole lot unique about it. And that makes sense because if you look, all of these pieces are placed normally. So there's only like these 4 pieces are shuffled. So it's actually very similar to the standard chess starting position. First two were dog, but the third one was actually brilliant. Really? I mean, that's Doctor Who, right? It's never been consistent. 3.5 points out of 6 made the top 10. Opponents were 1200, 1400 elo. That's excellent. Congratulations. So, what did we learn? I shouldn't have been creative. I should have played just a little more rationally, a little bit more principled. There's a reason center pawn moves are so good in standard chess. It's because they just really are very natural with the position. Following your Twitter channel, I don't see anything about your future plans in the areas I'm talking about. Well, yeah, that's because I don't like... Well, first off, the Twitter account that I have linked isn't my personal Twitter account. It's my Alchemy and Blobfish Twitter account. Doi. Because, you know, I have those separate. Or at least I try to keep those separate. Second, I don't use Twitter at all. I can't remember the last time I tweeted was. I might have responded or liked some tweets somewhat recently because I do check probably once a week. Just because there's a few people I follow who don't post on any other social medias. And then, what was the other thing? And then, on top of that, I don't usually super duper broadcast. One, my personal plans for things that the internet, well, how would I put this? The internet wouldn't help. Sure. And then, you know, on top of that, I've said before that I'm frustrated the way Christianity in the West is, and so I find it annoying to associate with it because, like, I really disagree with so much of what it does, of what people do, and it's hard. And so I don't, like, hide the fact that I'm a Christian, because, I mean, I think it's, like, anti-biblical to hide that you're a Christian, but I don't, like, yell about it because I feel like it's just going to end up associating myself with people who I really don't want to represent my belief system, if that makes sense. Maybe that's stupid, but do I manage to make 50 minutes of people standing in a pit talking tense, interesting and emotionally exciting? See, you can make anything interesting and emotionally exciting if you write it well, right? I understand you have the knowledge, one of the most to make a difference. Well, I think it's also the Dunning-Kruger sort of thing, where it's like the confidence and woo, and I know enough to know how little I know. You know, I know enough to know who R.C. Sproul is and have listened to him talk enough that I see how little I know compared to him, right? How little I've thought about this stuff, how little I've studied like other philosophers even outside of Christianity. Like, I haven't read any Spurgeon. Like, that's... Yeah, I mean, you're 22? Oh, yeah, true. An excellent point. I'm just saying. Just saying. My plan currently is to continue learning, and then on top of that, try and live biblical life. Then I feel like the difference will be obvious and all people asking me questions. Why is this guy appearing in your chat but not mine? Do you have him blocked or something? That happens occasionally. Like if you block somebody, then they'll not show up in your chat, but which is also partially why I have the chat up here, so that if people accidentally block someone and forgot about it, it doesn't sound like I'm talking to ghosts. The voices in my head aren't that loud, guys. Kafka Funk. That's an excellent name. I like it. I didn't, but Gon might have. I couldn't read the name because I have a night late on. Yeah, I have them blocked. Okay, well there you go. That explains it. That explains it. Wait, Exo's still. So yeah, this giant Chess960 day. I'm still working through it. I'm chewing through it. I just finished, like, compiling it yesterday. I rejoined. I noticed. So send me another challenge, and then I'll play you, and then I'll play Gone. I'll beat everyone up. I'll beat everyone up. Y'all aren't ready for what's about to go down. I'm not ready for what's about to go down. Nobody's ready for what's about to go down. Okay, never mind. Send me? Okay. Yeah, I see your challenge. Okay, that took a long time to load. I like this move a lot. I like this move a lot. Thank you, I like it too. I need to read some Kafka. I really do. I'm not depressed enough, you know? Boom, develop the rook with check. I've heard that name, Kafka? I mean, I'm sure you have. He's very influential. Unless you're talking about Kafka Funk. Or Kafka Funk. It wasn't he like Polish, so it would be Kafka? Or am I thinking someone else? Yeah, he's very well known for writing. Oh, how would you even describe his work? Kafkaesque. Kafkaesque. Okay. Okay, wait, I'm good. I think he was German. Dang it. I tried. He was a German-speaking Bohemian Jewish novelist from Prague. Okay, I was never going to guess that. Surrealist absurdist? Yeah, I guess. Is he the turning into a bug guy? Yes. Yes, that's him. It's a little bit more complicated than that. It's surrealist absurdist, but like in a very pessimistic sort of way. And in a very analytical of society sort of way. With a lot of frustration towards the way bureaucracies dehumanize and seem to exist only to propagate their own absurdity. Again, I had never read any of his works, so I could be wrong about this. He turned into a bug because society. You joke, but literally yes. Like, I mean, memes aside, that's a pretty reasonable way of describing that. I mean, it's about as reasonable as the way you're going to get to describe the guy turning into a bug. Society bug. Pretty much, man didn't want to go to work. He like really didn't want to go to work though. It was like impressive how much he didn't want to go to work. He was deeply disturbed. Your energies could be laser focused if God gave you that grace. And I literally believe that. That's a God-given focus. It absolutely is. I wouldn't mind God-given laser focus. I'm not gonna lie to you. I will be keeping this. I have been gifted with an analytical mind. I should have just taken his rook. What am I doing? There's so many, like, super influential thinkers that I haven't read any of their stuff, man. Anything. There's so much to know, so much to learn. Haven't even finished, like, what's it called? You know what I need to do? I need to get back into reading before bed, because I got through like 3 books in like a month that way. I need to get back to reading nightly, and then on top of that, I need to get physical copies of these like books, just like one book for each of these thinkers, and then just get through them little by little, you know? It'll be a slow process because you can't read these books quickly, but pretty skippable unless you're literally literary buff. Well, you know, the thing is, for me, it doesn't even necessarily matter that much how right they were or how proven wrong they were. It's to me more about them being influential, right? Because like to some degree for me, it's like trying to understand the history of human thought, right? It's like a very stupid metaphor, but it's like me when I play games. I really like playing games that aren't just good, but games that were important for their time, because it's super interesting. For real, man. For real, I feel you. Well, be well read and smart, but that low-key chess is more fun. There's just... The problem is just there's so much to do. Like, I have to study and I have exams as well. And I have assignments to do. Either way, that's what I need to do. I just need to be more consistent about... I'm not going to accept the draw Pyro just because I would lose 14 elo in doing so. Otherwise, I would have accepted it there. See, back when I did a lot of like landscaping, so a lot of weed whacking specifically, I would listen to audiobooks while I was doing that, and that gave me a lot of specific time for audiobooks. And still, whenever I'm doing a long drive, I'll turn on an audiobook and I get through some stuff that way. But in day-to-day life, it's hard to consistently do that, because in order to listen to an audiobook, you have to have a lot of time where you're doing something that doesn't require a ton of thought. Right? So like driving, I don't need to think about it a whole lot. I know where I'm going. I just, you know, don't hit anything and keep my eyes on the road and we're fine. Same with like weed whacking. I know what I need to do. I know what direction to swing the weed whacker. I agree. The need for an apologetic, the ability to be biblically defend is needed. Should I say is missing by and large from our culture. Let's avoid you could fill. Audiobooks rock. Audiobooks are excellent. Yeah. This is going to sound stupid, but I kind of just don't want to fight people constantly. It gets exhausting. I love Leppy. That's more of a fear thing, if I'm being honest. But I suppose I have time, yeah? Just cutting off the king from moving forward is just a very natural and easy way of proceeding. I'm decently well read. I'm like, fine. I've read enough that I can read quickly and that I have a large enough vocabulary to impress my English teachers when I need to, but not where I need to be. It's so annoying because I listen to people like R.C. Sproul or Rod Sterling, the guy who did the original Twilight Zone. Listening to him talk, it's just like, man, not just the amount of things they have to say, but how elegantly they're able to explain them and express it. It's frustrating. It's exhausting, but we have a long history of people that died young and exhausted for our benefit. That's true. I am in a fairly unique spot. So I was introduced to a lot of these concepts younger than many. I think one of my favorite things about reading older books is noticing references to them in newer books. Ah, that's true. That's true. I mean, it's been a long time since I've read a lot of novels. I've read a good amount of Frederick Bachman. Specifically, I've read My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. And I quite enjoyed that. It's like an inside joke between you and the author. That's kind of the idea, right? I could have played this and it would have been a draw. That would have been very funny. Also, listen to an audiobook of 1984. But otherwise, I don't do that many novels. I gotta tell you my dream from last night before I forget it. So this is the basic. The two audiobooks I started working through, but I haven't finished because I haven't done any lawn care, nor have I done any, had any log drives recently, is The Intelligent Investor and The Supreme Object of Ideology. Because I had read a lot of stuff I agree with in a row, right? Like 4 books that I agree with in a row. I'm like, that's too many. I have to do something I'm probably going to disagree with. So I decided Zizek would be an interesting choice. Because if there's one word you can use to describe Zizek, it's interesting. Okay. Bishop, rook, king, queen, knight, bishop, rook, knight. Here we are. Position 176. Wow. Okay, so listen here. This position, the difference, the win rate difference between black and white in this position is less than 0.2%. Heard of James White? No, I don't think I have. I'll have to look it up. I'm bad with names. I don't think I have. Reformed Baptist. Here we go. Interesting. You're undercover as one of the bartenders. And then you were serving these awesome drinks. Okay, I'll look now. But yeah, so this position is like remarkably even from a human perspective. E4, B3, and D4 are the 3 most common moves. E4, D4, and B3. What? And those 3 moves together make up, what is it? 50, 52, 58, 60. 68% of games start with one of these 3 moves. Black's moves are, interestingly, B6, Knight g6. And d5. The starting evaluation for this position is, get this, plus 0.07. That's the start. This is one of the most even positions in Fisher Random. According to the computer. However, the computer for white has a shockingly large win rate. Like, more so than positions that are considered less drawish. And the computer says that e3 and e6 are the best moves. Wow, that's weird. So now the difficulty is the computer games, I only have like 300,000 of those total, which sounds like a lot, but it means I only have some odd 600 games per position. A little less than that even, and a little less than 700 for most of them. And the annoying part is that makes it difficult because you get a lot of variance when you have that few games. Also, hello, Ronnie. Yeah, computers playing against each other, that's computer games. No, I have not. Ooh, cool guide to 16 iconic sci-fi classics. Let me... Oh. I was not aware that's how that worked. Okay, yeah, I can just do this in... I accidentally did the operating system one. Dune, okay. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, okay. Slaughterhouse 5. Martian Chronicles. Frankenstein. Brave New World. Ender's Game. Wrinkle in Time. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Neuromancer. 2001. I, Robot. Time Machine. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The War of the Worlds. The Martian. I didn't know 2001 was a book. Huh. I've heard of a bunch of these. Just from movies, because I'm more of a film buff than I am a book buff. So obviously Dune movie. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy I've heard of, just randomly. Slaughterhouse 5 never heard of. Martian Chronicles never heard of. Frankenstein is Frankenstein, of course I've heard of Frankenstein. Same with Brave New World I've heard of. Ender's Game I've heard of. Wrinkle in Time I've heard of. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? So technically, I would say... So... Blade Runner is an adaptation of this. So I would say I've heard of it from a movie because Blade Runner is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. Neuromancer. I don't know this. I don't know if I know this one. (2001), obviously. I Robot, obviously. The Time Machine, once again, movie that I've seen. 20,000 Leagues, movie. War of the Worlds, movie, and also radio drama. And then The Martian, also a movie. I actually just rewatched that movie. I liked it quite a lot. Why is Fahrenheit 451 not there? That's a good question. Let me think. Are there any other sci-fi books that I can think of? I haven't read much sci-fi. I'm trying to think. Have I read any sci-fi? I've always read more fantasy than sci-fi, if I'm being honest. But even then. I've honestly read mostly folklore. Foundation novel. Federation series, right? Thank you for your point of view. You're back Monday and Wednesday. That's the plan. Neuromancer, I believe, is considered the origin of cyberpunk, but I never read it. Okay, fair. Federation. Yeah, Foundation. Well, you could literally put like anything by Isaac Asimov. That guy is insane. They have I guess what they were doing is they were trying not to include multiple books by the same author. See you then. See you, Moss. That's probably what it was. They only wanted one book per author. And if that's the case, then it's difficult to argue against iRobot being the book. Y'all are too smart? What are you talking about? I haven't read any of these books, XO. I'm just pretending. I'm faking. Cause like, how are you going to say that Fahrenheit 451 should be not sorry, not that one. That Foundation should be there over iRobot? Like, come on. It's iRobot. It's one of the most iconic like images of science fiction of all time. And like the 3 laws. Oh, doy, there's an immediate bishop check. So that's not a very good move because of that. But then I just grabbed a pawn like a thief in the night. The novel and the film of the same name were developed at the same time and released in the same year. Interesting. 2001. I don't know. If the book is the same as the movie, which I don't know if it is, it probably isn't, because Kubrick is insane. I'm not going to say I didn't care for 2001. I just thought it felt like it thought obviously the effects were very good for their time, but more consumer friendly. But the Foundation series is massively influential to sci-fi. That's true. What was this? The best science fiction books of all time. Well, see, with a category like best, what are you supposed to say? Thoughts on stuff happening in Slovakia? Didn't the like, wasn't there like an assassination attempt on the president or something? I do not know nearly enough about it to have an opinion. Also, Ronnie mentioned some drama with, was that it? No idea who that is. Oh, is this the guy who played? Is this the guy that played that weird gambit and got banned for beating Daniil? Not Daniil, Tanya. Yeah. My GM defeated Daniel Naroditsky by sacrificing a rook for bishop in all games, then got banned, saying he didn't cheat. Yeah. I heard about that. I had a friend of mine tell me. I don't know enough about the situation. He was telling me about it. It was what he played, like a4, rook a3 every game. Super goofy. Yeah, words like best are really hard, because how are you supposed to say best sci-fi book? Like, that's the thing, is you're already shooting yourself in the foot by making a list like best. Because what's the word I'm looking for? What standards you use to measure something as best changes everything. Like, I have my funny, goofy movie list of the best movies ever made, right? It's got like 150 movies on it, right? Imagine saying goofy in 2024. I'm going to do it again. Goofy. So I have my goofy, silly list of like 150 movies, right? Ranked. But I'm upfront like, hey, I just like these specific things in movies, and rational minds may differ, right? Because if you don't like those things and care about some other stuff that I don't care about, then your list is going to look way different. So making just a best science fiction books is difficult. Now, there's nothing, like, obviously there's not that serious of a list, but yeah, but even quality of writing. Like, let's take an example. Oh, give me a second. Lovecraft. Is Lovecraft's writing good? right? Is Lovecraft's writing good? I thoroughly enjoy his stuff. I've read The Call of Cthulhu, right? The novella. Loved it. Thought it was fantastic. But I really don't mind how wordy it is. A lot of people have a problem with Lovecraft because they are like, it's too wordy. He's like, it's wordy to the point where it's impossible to read because he just doesn't need to use that many words. You know? Like, there's the whole rumor that he got paid by the word, which is why his writing is the way it is, which isn't true, but the fact that people think that, you know, shows what direction people are thinking. So, like, is Lovecraft's writing good? I would say yes, but someone else might say no. I don't like my mom or something who doesn't like that kind of book. She might say no. His writing is dated. It's like Tolkien, not bad, just archaic. Comparing anything to Tolkien is really rough because Tolkien's just another level. But no, but like, even compared to other works from the time, Lovecraft just is very verbose. Very, very verbose. I like Tolkien to clarify. Of course you like Tolkien. Everybody likes Tolkien. Everybody likes Tolkien. Very, very non-controversial author, that one. Like, I mean, isn't 1984 a type of sci-fi too? I wouldn't say so, because there's very little science. There's like very, very little science. But it depends on how you define science fiction, right? I would expect that in your definition of science fiction, science should be a big part of the story. Just realized how it sounded, wanted to clarify. No, I got it. I'm not worried. In their list of science fiction books, outside of maybe, I don't know how sciencey A Wrinkle in Time is. Outside of maybe A Wrinkle in Time, all of these books, I also don't know much about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so I can't make a comment about that one. All of these books have time as technology as a central aspect of the plot, right? Like, technology is the thing that's focused on. Honestly, you can make an argument against the Time Machine as well, but I think that one will work. Honestly, yeah. So, like, it's central. You really don't... You could have 1984 be 1284 and just have a bunch of, I don't know, like, ghosts or something keeping tabs on the people. It doesn't matter. The technology is not nearly... It's not the part of the story that matters. You could replace it, and it would be the same story, you know? It absolutely reads as fantasy now. But, you know, that's kind of the joke of... Not joke, the saying that all fantasy is sci-fi or all technology is explainable by science that's sufficiently advanced. Or no, science is sufficiently advanced from modern technology looks like magic, right? And so eventually you get far enough past sci-fi, it looks like fantasy because we diverge so far from it. There's very few books that stand sci-fi because of how accurate their view of technology was. So I wouldn't say 1984 is sci-fi. I would say it uses sci-fi elements, right? What's an example that I could use of what I mean by this? Ooh, give me a second. Seven is not a horror movie. It's a thriller that uses elements of horror. I get Frankenstein. Yeah. Same with like Silence of the Lambs. Just because you take from that category as a way of improving your story doesn't mean your story is in that category. Right? At least that would be my take on it. You know? Also, let me read this guy's post. Okay, read the post by the Grandmaster who got banned. It's impossible to know. Like, what am I even supposed to say, right? Because here's the thing. Okay, now actually one thing that I don't like. So, first off, chess.com partner, or wherever my logo is. Now, I'm of course going to say that that doesn't influence my opinion, and they haven't told me anything I can't say, because they haven't, but just in the sake of honesty, know that I have a positive bias in favor of chess.com. Now, that being said, chess.com does not have a monopoly on the online chess sphere. Come on. Come on. First off, Lee Chess exists. Like, I mean, they just don't. They just don't. Now, I understand why him saying being banned from chess.com is a big deal. Obviously it is. And obviously it will hurt his chess growth. Don't get me wrong. But just, they don't have a monopoly. Worst case scenario, it's a duopoly. And the two parties in the duopoly don't cooperate. So, like, maybe that's too much of an economic student take, but it's not a monopoly. They get away with this because they have such a monopoly on the online chess sphere. I mean, I guess I'm being pedantic, because he could have just said they get away with this because of how much influence they have in the online chess sphere, and it would have been fine. So I think I'm being pedantic, but it's kind of annoying, because monopolies are often such a really, really bad thing for any sort of niche or subculture, that to me it feels like a really strong thing to be throwing around, right? Like, on Twitter, last time I was on Twitter like a month ago, I saw someone mention Steam being a monopoly, and I'm like, Steam is only a monopoly because everyone else is stupid. Like, they don't do they don't do anything super anti-consumer, you know? It's not like they don't do any exclusivity contracts. Epic Games was doing that, and they still couldn't beat Steam because Steam just has the best feature set, right? If someone came along and made a better alternative, then they could do fine. Like GOG, like itch.io, like Epic Games for a while, although Epic Games just did it because they're giving out free games. Beside the point. You know, so it's just, I guess it's a pet peeve of mine when people call something a monopoly just because it's the best one. Monopolies are very problematic when they exist, but don't call something a monopoly when it's just the best one in the sphere, and then ask for people to do something about it. Like, again, personal pet peeve. It really doesn't matter for his points. The call thing is weird. Has chess.com said anything, or is it just this Grandmaster talking about his experience? And we'll see, right? But it's so hard to tell, because this is one of the big problems with cheating in chess specifically. is there's no definitive way to prove yes or no. It's impossible. And which is really bad for everyone. It's bad for everyone. Because I have no idea if this guy cheated. How are we supposed to know? It's his word against chess.com's, right? Wait, is this real? It's stinking. Chess.com saying they ran simulations on ChatGPT. That can't be real. Did they actually say that? Maybe there's some sort of data analysis tool. That'd be super weird. I don't know. It's hard. Because I personally know of some false positives. I guess it's almost a philosophical discussion, because like, how do you try and prevent positives, false positives? I mean, I would expect that chess.com would respond at some point. They probably should, but wait. Did I accidentally start a normal chess game? I accidentally started a normal chess game. Oops. Okay, well, I'll play it out, but... Which I am in the queue? Yeah, it's your turn next. I could have sworn I clicked the Chess960 button. Yeah, okay, I'll just play this. And it's weird because he said, what did he say he was going to sue them? Did he say he was going to sue them? Let's see, make it thing. I mean, I don't. Did he say that he was going to sue them? I don't think he said that. Now, if he is going to sue them, that's going to be real difficult, because you can't sue them unless they give definite reason of banning him. No, but here's the thing. What would he sue them for? Like, what? What's his case? What did they do? It's a privately owned company with a privately owned website. The only thing, like, you, even if you say defamation, because the thing is, defamation not only is, you know, the truth, perfect argument against defamation, he'd have to prove that they knew he wasn't cheating and that they banned him anyway, which I would be shocked beyond belief. Like, even if we say chess.com's cheat detection is bad and they've been hiding it to try and save their reputation or whatever, they're not going to ban someone they know isn't cheating. Like, come on. So he doesn't have any grounds to sue them, but I don't think he's mentioned that he's going to sue them here, which, however, that being said, I don't feel bad for him, assuming he's telling the truth. It's difficult because it's what are you supposed to do? Like, I'm trying to think, because while clarity is important, cheat detection is rough. No one's figured it out. I'm putting my tinfoil hat. Go for it. Go for it. I'm all for a good conspiracy theory. I don't know. Running stuff through chat. It's possible that for major streamers like Hikaru or Danya, they have a certain priority when they report people. So in weird cases like this, Danya reporting a V triggered an automatic ban, and chess moderation is doubling down and backing Daniil to not reveal their mechanisms. Okay, I see your point. Now, I can guarantee you that it's true that they get priority. That's 100% true. There's no universe where they don't get priority. Now, I wouldn't even necessarily say it's a bad thing. Technically, it is nepotism. However, nepotism's only bad if you know the person isn't right for the job, right? Oh, Micah. Or Mika. So, them giving more credence to people with a very positive and long-standing reputation isn't a bad thing. Now, like you said, the degree's in question. But here's the thing. Why on earth would they create a system that auto-bans and then double down? That's begging for something like this to happen, right? That would be a supremely, for lack of a better word, kind of stupid solution. Like, I get them having priority, but I wouldn't expect them to auto ban people. That even seems a little strong. Alright, 2K 960? No, I am not. I just accidentally started a non-960 game because I pressed the wrong button. And I didn't notice until like 4 moves in. And by that point, it was too late to abort. I'm sure it's a little more complicated, but losing a dozen games up a rook probably added weight to whatever process that's triggered when you report. Yeah, that's true. The problem is just we don't know if he's cheating. Because it's like a he said, she said sort of thing. Does he have... I mean, like, what proof could you even give? Right? That's the problem. If you're a false positive, how could you prove it? I tend to think that he did. I would say it's more likely than not that he did, but that's the problem. How do you know? How do you know? How could you prove one way or another? Which, the problem is ultimately you can't. Cheating at online chess is very easy to get away with once. Obviously, over time, the statistics will look weird and get caught, but... Trial by over the board. Genius. But you can even cheat over the board, though. It's harder, but you totally can. It's a horrible situation for everyone. Because if he cheated, now chess.com just kind of has to sit there and let this guy fuel the haters. And if he didn't cheat, then he just kind of has to sit there and let chess.com hurt his career and reputation. But see, even that doesn't confirm whether or not they cheated. That confirms whether or not they must have cheated. Right? In theory, I could cheat and play worse than I normally do, and I'd still be cheating. You know? Now, normally, that's very unlikely. I'm just saying. Just because someone played a bad game of chess doesn't mean they weren't cheating, which is another huge part of the problem. The only thing I don't agree with is the coerced confession from chess.com once. It's a bit messed up when you see how the Hans drama played out. I think a lot of people cheat online. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think it's pretty clearly the case that a lot of people cheat online. Well, I'm not gonna say it's impossible because your statistics will look weird, but it'll be impossible to prove, not detect. Right? Oh, not Primer. I think it's Primer. Has an amazing video on this. Give me a second. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Oh. Fantastic video. And even though I don't know chess.com's methodology, I can say with a pretty high degree of certainty that their methodology is something like that. I know, but then you'll find more critical moves than the average player at 2000 will, and it'll be weird. Like your win rate, your win-loss draw stats will look weird, and how your accuracy rating will look weird. It will never be conclusive, but it'll be weird. Does that mean anything? Who knows? But you can kind of get a vibe too. You can, but that's just human intuition. That's just human intuition, which is just really, really fast math. Well, it's more than that, but it's just our advanced pattern recognition, right? So I'm not going to say it's worthless by any stretch, but even then, you can't make you making a system off that inevitably will lead to some false positives. Again, that primer video explains very well, and by and large, it's basically how many false positives is acceptable. Welcome back, Alan. The coerced confessions thing, I would say, is probably them just covering their rear in court. Whether or not they should be doing that, I actually don't know. It's a difficult question. But I can understand why they do. How's it going? Pretty well. We're discussing cheating allegations. So, you know, standard Alco stream stuff. Who about? That Grandmaster who beat Danya by sacking a rook in the opening like a bajillion games in a row. Know what I'm talking about? Yeah, know about that? Yeah. I read his most recent Reddit post from like 2 days ago. And so I was just talking about it. Yeah. No, you were very close. Visu. Okay, now. Your turn, Gon. What's your chess.com name? Gongonistan? Yeah, XO rejoin queue. It's not your turn, XO. But... Ah, it's monkey time. I should have known that. Stinking monkey ball profile picture. Just got Billy and Moon Fisher random. Nice. I don't know. It's hard. Because see, basically, like I said, it's a he said, she said. It's a who do you trust situation. Pyro, it's your turn next. I was just seeing who was next in the queue. It's a he said, she said. Do you trust the Rook? Based. Do you trust chess.com more? Do you trust this Grandmaster more? And that's by and large going to determine what you think of this whole situation. If you think chess.com is full of bad actors, are we playing? We'll play after this. You're next. This guy's in front of you in line. If you think chess.com is full of bad actors who are willing to sacrifice anything and everything for the sake of increasing their influence in the chess community, then you're going to think that he didn't cheat, and you're going to think that it's a big conspiracy. So, you know, rational minds may differ. I would say I tend to trust chess.com. Bias detected, but it's hard. I think he cheated in some of the games. I don't think he cheated in all. Yeah. I really honestly don't know. I haven't seen the games, and even if I have, I'm not an expert. Although I would definitely want to see the games before saying anything. Because who the heck knows, right? I'm pushing my advantage. Oh, come on. My bad, thought it was bullet. Should I have challenged you to bullet? I've been doing Chess960 basic this entire time. Bishop, bishop, knight, rook, knight, king, queen. Boom. This is position number 15 in my database. Ah, okay, gotcha. In this position, white wins 49.2% of the time, black wins 46.8% of the time, with exactly a 4% draw rate. Most common move for white is b3. It's the obvious move. Second most common is d4. It's also a very common move. Third most common is e4. Right. Three most natural moves, three most common. But b3 is by far the most common move, occurring in 35.6% of the games. So a third of the games, a little over a third of the games. I have not played Bullet 960. That sounds like, I don't know if it sounds horrible or amazing. So most natural moves are the three most common. But b3 is the most common by a landslide. Then b6 is most common for black, followed by d5, followed by f6. Wow. f6 I find shocking that it's the third most common move. But almost everything is b. Once again, a third of the games are b6, which is a huge amount of games for one move. The computer gives this position as plus 0.36. So about average, slightly worse for black than average, but not by much. It says the best moves for white and black are, get this, f3, f6. Okay. So, just from a statistical perspective, see, the implication there is not only is Feingold rolling in his grave, but also this position killed him, which I think is perfect. Like, it put him in the grave, and now he's spinning. It didn't just make him spin, it just put him there to begin with. Anyway. That's weird. Why is that so good? What? Let's say I play b6. What's the big idea? Just d4. I guess it's blunting the bishop. Okay, I'm not going to play pawn to f6. And I guess it's just e4 coming is very strong. Why b3 over b4? Probably because b4 is a weakness. It's just a weak pawn. And there's a hole on this square now. Hey! Jadingle Jane, welcome back. It's been a while. Hibernation, it is. Have I seen you all winter? Was it literally hibernation? How was it? Was it like a really, really long nap? Engine like c4 at first, I think. Well, see, the best move I'm looking at is not from the chess.com engine. It's from my stats page that I have. It's from my giant database. I'm not using the chess.com engine. It's the newest version of Stockfish. I think it's depth of 42, but it's depth of 42 run with a 7-piece table base in on one core to make it deterministic, if memory serves. I forgot my Twitch login and found today. Nice. Well, welcome back. Yeah, so you're making a hole on c4 if you play b4. So, meanwhile in b3, black gets no such square. Same thing for white. You don't want to give white that square. So weak pawn, and more importantly, weak square. Oh wow, I'm surprised queen e8 was the best move. I'm pretty proud of myself for that one. That's a fun move. I just thought b4 to allow the a3 diagonal to open. Yeah, but the bishop's already good on this diagonal. Especially if you play what I did and go d4, d5, then the bishop's already pretty good here. You don't really need to open this diagonal. Sorry, here. Because you can move this and then it targets e5. This isn't a bad square for it to be on. And since castling queenside is such a big option here, it makes more sense to me to keep your pawn structure a little bit better. But, you know. Okay, now it's your turn, XO. I'll play one bullet game. Okay. This is horrible. How on earth do you play this? This is so stupid. I'm keeping it. That's mine. I'm keeping that knight. I like it. I can't right now. Let's play some other time. Sure. Want to play Fisher random after? 1 second. I'll answer your question in a moment. This is a bullet. I'm keeping it. I do not have the brain power for this, man. This is way too big brain. This is too much. Easy. I played terrible in the opening. Absolutely atrocious. Hey, but you made weaknesses on your light squares, and you paid for it. I like how... Yeah, I'll play you now, Sky. Yeah, it's your turn anyway. I like how... This is true. Although, I don't think I ever got that low on time. I wouldn't have flagged even 1-1. I had 30 seconds on the clock at the end. Excuse you. Heck, 1-0 I wouldn't have flagged. This is move 28. So on move 28, I had 1:30. So even if it was 1-0, I wouldn't have flagged in this game. I spent less than a minute. I like how simple the ideas were in this position because neither one of us had the time to think anything through. So I was just like, I'm keeping the knight. I'm making the pawn chain. Connect 4. Let's go. Actually, I wouldn't have been flagged. What do you mean I wouldn't have been flagged? That's not true. It's I wouldn't have flagged. Because the term flagging comes from chess clocks, from the old analog chess clocks. And when you run out of time, the little flag would come down on your side of the clock to show that you're out of time. So you were flagged. That's where it came from. It's because they used to be like actual mechanical clocks. You know, like mechanical watches, you know, where you have to wind them. That they were chess clocks like that. Because, you know, they didn't have digital clocks back then. And so the flag would fall down to show that you were out of time. That's how it was indicated. There's little flags. Let me just... See? See if I can get a good picture. Where's one that shows the little flag clearly? Trying to find a good example. Here's your coming together to form my trolling. Where is it? It's difficult because all of them are these modern ones that are quartz analog, which is stupid because it's just digital again. Come on, give me one to... It's still quartz analog, but you can kind of see it here with the little flags there. It's still quartz analog though, so it probably beeps when it's over. Come on. What's what I'm looking for? Antique. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Found one. See? Flags. And the little flag would fall when you ran out of time. That's why it's called flagging. It's because, you know, the flag. There you go. That's your little bit of chess history. Normal chess to bait e6 pre-move is actually OP. And that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. I love it. See, that's why bullet chess is like barely chess. It's because you can do dumb stuff like that. Fly to Sky Gaming. I'll send you Chess960, 10 minutes, like all the other ones. Is anyone else in queue? No, queue's empty. Okay, so then I'll close queue and I'll be done when I'm done with you because I have some other stuff I want to do tonight. I think I need to delete part of my title so I can fit the queue close notification. There we go. Whoa. Oh, this is hard. Here. I've got a plan. I'm playing the Dutch. This is so dumb. Y'all like my plan? How's my plan? My plan is now over. Plan complete. I mean, I'm pretty happy with how that went. Oh, wow, really? Are you sure? Something about that feels wrong. I don't like how weak the E3 pawn is. That doesn't feel right, man. That just doesn't feel right. Getting all the pieces free is a really difficult part of this variant. It's super annoying. Okay. I see you. Especially in starting position like this, because maybe it's just me, but this position, it felt like my pieces were super tangled up. And, like, very unnatural. Gave me a lot of trouble. Maybe it's just my feeling, but I just really hated the piece coordination here. Just feel like they weren't working together very well at the start. Okay, sure. I'll just continue with my plan. Very nice, very nice. Okay, I like my position all of a sudden. Ooh. That's an annoying move. Don't love c6, but I don't see another option. I feel like c6 is asking for trouble. Okay, well, that's a blunder. Why are so many people falling for this today? For some reason, everybody is blundering a piece by, like, leaving a rook hanging behind it and dealing with the pin. It's happening so many times. So weird. And I'm not complaining, but it's happened like 4 times today. It's a very specific type of blunder to happen that often. Then this is my next few moves, if I'm given the ability. 94, and I'm very happy with my position. I've just got a slow, small, noticeable, long-term advantage. Okay, very nice. Just up a piece, and this knight is incredible. Just a very, very strong piece. Come on. I know you see it. That doesn't work. It almost works. He's almost cooking. Doesn't work. Almost works. Not quite. Very good attempt on his part, though. I like it. I really appreciate the attempt. That was a good one. But just there's too much. Too much. Now, winning this is going to be fine, I think. It's just these endgames sometimes get annoying when the bishop can hold all of its pawns. The nice thing is that it's not an exchange up, it's a rook up, so I can just sacrifice stuff and still remain winning. Speaking of which, let's simplify. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Make everything simple. Because I don't want to have to deal with any of his shenanigans. I want this to be a tomfoolery-free zone. Okay. What was your next move there, big guy? Okay, very nice, very nice. And see, I'm covering all of the infiltration squares of the queen. The queen can't get in anywhere. It can go here, but then I just go queen e4, which is my plan anyway. Do I have any better? I don't think I do. I think I can just go here. And trading queens is just very bad for him. Very nice. To win the rook endgame, I think we just double rooks on the second rank, start eating. This works too. This works too. Okay. Perfect. Now I'll analyze this game and then we will bounce. Nice match. Yes. Now, let me pull up the starting position in my big database. Rook, king, bishop, queen, knight, bishop, rook, knight. Position 716. White has a 49.04% win rate. Black, it's a 3.88 draw and 47.07 loss. Okay. Most common moves are d4, e4, and knight g3. Which you played knight f3. Okay. Fair enough. Not a bad move. And for black, it's d5, h8 to g6. d5, h8 to g6, and e5. So basically same thing. In computer games, obviously the computer wins way more with white, but it's actually not that winning. It's given plus 0.29, so like the same as starting chess. And computer is the computer and completely insane and says that the best move is a4. What? Just... I don't... Why? I don't understand. What? Why? Why? Okay. So evidently the computer is insane. Good to know. The annoying part is now I remember, with kings on close to the side of the board, pushing the rook pawn to try and create weaknesses in front of the king is actually a common motif in Fischer random play. So now we're both playing for the center in our sort of off-kilter ways. Yeah, and I should have played d5. The reason I should have played d5 is to prevent you from ever playing e4. As it stands, though, I probably let you have an opportunity to play e4, specifically here. Right? And now it's like, okay, white's a bit better. Since... Why is white a bit better? Pawn structure is better for white. Having a 3-on-2 is better than having a 4-on-3. This is a better pawn structure long term for white. That's annoying. And now I just have a slight advantage because this is a very awkward structure of pieces. A lot of the time when you have these pieces that are in very bad or weird spots in Fischer random, one of the first orders of business is to fix them, right? Which is what I try to do like immediately, almost too quickly. I should have gone for this pawn move first and then gone for it. I was too hasty. I wouldn't have won that position anyway with hung mate in one. What you gonna do? It's still an interesting position, and we still learn from it. Bishop a5, queen e7, bishop takes, king takes. And see, now if we look, I've solved my problems. This is good, this is good. These pieces can very easily come to where they want to be, and my queen's active. Meanwhile, if you look at your position, all three of these are still stuck. So I'm playing with more material than you are. Additionally, I have this long-term weakness, which, now that this square in front of it is a light square, it means you don't have a light squared bishop to fight it. This is a very important square, and so you not having a light squared bishop is very important. C6 is the only move that made sense. And then you just blunder the pin. This is a very common motif, very difficult to consistently see. Again, I really appreciate the tenacity here. Good stuff. Even this, I don't mind. Like, I get it. You were trying to generate counterplay. Because here you just slowly suffocate. I go here, here, and then... A very difficult game. You played well, I think. It just goes to show how difficult it is to play these positions in the opening. I still have more to learn. I was GG after the rook anyway, but I still have more to learn. Absolutely. You'll get your rating way higher if you keep playing. Well, yeah, I'm like 2,000 standard rating, like normal chess.com rating, and I've hit 2,200. I've just dropped a bunch of elo recently because I stopped drinking caffeine before I stream, because caffeine this late in the day is not good for me. So I stopped drinking caffeine before I streamed, and really haven't done any chess grinding with caffeine, which really helps me play better, and helps me focus. And so I've dumped elo, so now I'm only like 2030 or 2050 or something. Maybe my 960 is not fully calibrated. No, you played very well. Like, I could see, like, especially in the opening, Chess960 is hard, right? So usually people do worse, but you played very well in the opening, considering it was 960. So it makes sense to me that you're better at 960 than you are at standard, because you played the opening very well. Like, again, you played E4 here, and it's a successful opening for you. So it would make sense to me that your Fisher-Random rating would be higher than your normal one. That's I don't have a problem with that. I mean, we'll see, right? You'll see your elo. I have no idea. It's just a little bit misleading because I just haven't played enough Fisher-Random games to get my elo up, so I'm a bit underrated. But good games. Very interesting. Man, the more I play Fisher-Random, the more I like it more than regular chess. You'll get yours higher for certain. Thank you. I appreciate it. Give me a second. Let me try to figure out how to pronounce that. Satyase Karamitra. Nailed it. I was up for a rematch. Normally I would say yes. However, it's late and I'm peacing out. It's that time. I am keeping to my schedule. I said I was going to be done streaming at 10 my time. It's 10:20, so I'm basically on time by my standards. Ooh, Thinker Teacher is live. I might have to raid him. Fair enough. Next week or however often you play 960. I play 960 every Saturday. Monday and Wednesday is still normal chess because 960 doesn't have the reputation yet. Who knows? If I can kind of get people playing 960, then maybe we'll, you know, shift over to more 960 and less standard. Because the more I play 960, the more I like it. I just like it better than regular chess, man. At this point, I'm kind of tired of learning opening theory, even though I enjoy them, and I think it's interesting. It gets a little bit exhausting having to keep up with it. I get what Fisher was cooking with this one. You know? I smell what Fisher was cooking. Which I know Fisher didn't invent it, he just popularized it, but still, you remember. And I'm still in the beginning of my journey. I've got this big database that I want to build. Not build, I want to analyze and kind of gain some results from. And once I do that, I think I'll have a much better understanding of how Fisher-Random works. You know, you spend enough time staring at data for it, you'll figure out how that works. Either way, we're rating Thinker Teacher. So have an amazing rest of the day, y'all. See ya. So, Mr. YouTube Man, you weren't in Twitch chat, so you don't see that I rated. You stayed despite the raid. It's pretty funny. Pretty goofy silly. But unfortunately, it's late my time and I was planning on leaving anyway. I'm sorry that you just got here and I'm leaving. It's unfortunate, but I'm tired. This is an interesting position. You know what's crazy? I have this big database of Chess960 games and what their best moves is. And in this position, it's A4, A5 are the best moves for white and black at a depth of like 42 with a full table base and all run on a single CPU core to make it deterministic. Crazy. Crazy, yeah? Anyway, have a great night, y'all.